I put the 16 best running shoes of 2026 into a World Cup to find the one that's actually worth your money. But here's the catch. The shoe that wins is not the one you think. Head-to-head, knockout rounds, one winner. It's not the $210 Asics everyone calls the best ever. It's not the carbon super shoes your feed won't stop pushing. It's a $150 shoe almost nobody is talking about. By the end of this, you'll know the one running shoe of 2026 that's actually worth your money, and exactly why. 16 shoes go in. One comes out, let's run it. Here's the problem. Nobody selling you shoes wants to say out loud, price does not equal performance. We've been trained to believe the most expensive, most hyped shoe must be the best. So we hand over $200 and feel smart doing it. But a $210 price tag doesn't run for you. Half the time, you're not paying for a better ride. You're paying for a bigger ad budget. Picking a running shoe by its marketing is like picking a restaurant by the size of its billboard. The loudest option is almost never the best one. It's just the one with the most money to shout at you, which is exactly why I threw the price tags out. Every shoe got scored on 4 things that actually matter when you're the one running. The ride, how good it feels underfoot, mile after mile. Value, what you get for every single dollar. Durability, how long it survives before the foam is dead. And race day pop, that spring that makes you want to go faster. No hype points, no brand loyalty, just the shoe. And the moment I did that, the favorites started falling apart. Because when you judge on performance instead of price, the giants have nowhere to hide. Here's the full field. Every big brand's flagship. Nike, Adidas, Asics, Hoka, and New Balance. Brooks, Saucony, Puma, On, and Mizuno, plus a Chinese carbon rocket. 16 shoes, 1 bracket. And that's when the real test starts. Round of 16, where the hype gets its first reality check. The Chinese carbon super shoe struts in. The $200 Li-Ning Feidian, a carbon rocket built for one thing. But a race rocket on your daily run is a Formula One car in a traffic jam. The Adidas Evo SL does 90% of it for less, and won't die at mile 300. Evo SL advances. The New Balance Rebel is the fun, feather-light one, but its soft foam scuffs to bits, while the Adidas Boston just keeps rolling. Boston takes it. The Brooks Glycerin is a recliner with laces. The Asics Novablast actually wants to run. Novablast, easy. Hoka softened its beloved Mach and called it an upgrade. The Saucony Endorphin Speed kept its snap. Speed advances. A battle of the pillow forts, the New Balance 1080 versus the Asics Gel-Nimbus. The lighter, bouncier 1080 evicts the Nimbus from its own couch. Now watch this one. Puma brought an actual carbon plate to the fight, and it got out-cushioned by a $150 shoe almost nobody can pronounce. The Mizuno Neo Zen. No weak spot to attack. It wins without breaking a sweat. And nobody in the comments even notices. Hold that thought. Because while the big names fight for the spotlight, the Neo Zen just quietly scores well on all 4. That's the pattern that decides this whole thing. An all-Nike duel. The Pegasus against the Vomero. Same foam, same price. But the Vomero is plush and built to last. Vomero takes it. And the 2-seed, that $210 Superblast, rolls over On's Cloudsurfer into the quarters. But here's where it gets brutal. Quarterfinals, and now the pretenders get exposed. That $210 Superblast, the one every list crowns king, is genuinely brilliant. Bouncy, versatile, a joy to run in. But here's the question the price tag can't answer. Is it $60 better than the shoes it's facing? Because value is on the scorecard now. An Adidas Civil War. The Boston straps carbon rods to your feet. The Evo SL just lets you fly. Same foam, $10 cheaper. Evo SL. The Novablast is a blast. The Speed is a blast with a plate. Speed moves on. The New Balance. 1080 finally got light, then got the wobbles. The Neo Zen stayed planted. Still no weakness to attack. The most expensive shoe in the bracket suddenly isn't the obvious pick. It advances, but it's bleeding. The crown is starting to look heavy. But here's the problem for the favorites. The semifinals are where it happened, the beat I did not see coming. The $210 Superblast, the internet's darling, runs straight into the $150 Mizuno. On paper, it's a mismatch. The most expensive shoe of the year, versus a shoe your local runner has never heard of, and the Mizuno wins. Not on flash, on the boring stuff that decides real races. It's bad at nothing. It feels great every single mile, and it'll still be alive long after the Superblast's foam is packed out and dead. The most expensive shoe of 2026 is out, beaten by a shoe that costs $60 less. And on the other side, the $150 Adidas Evo SL quietly punches its ticket to the final two. Notice something? The two cheapest smart shoes in the whole bracket are the last two standing, and that's when we reach the final. Mizuno Neo Zen versus the Adidas Evo SL. $150 against $150. Not a single overpriced super shoe in sight, and both of them beat the $210 king to get here. Let that sink in. The two best value shoes of 2026 knocked out everything more expensive and more hyped on the way. So, who takes the crown? The champion of the 2026 Running Shoe World Cup is the Mizuno Neo Zen. $150. And here's why it wins. Not because it's the fastest or the bounciest or the flashiest. It wins because it has no weakness. Look at its scorecard. Ride, plush and smooth. Value, $150. Durability. It outlasts the carbon super shoes nearly 2-to-1. And race day pop. Real, genuine snap. No hole in its game. Every other shoe here was great at one thing and bad at another. The super shoes were fast and fragile. The Asics was brilliant and overpriced. The Mizuno is just good at all of it. Great ride, real race day pop, and it lasts roughly twice as long as those carbon super shoes. Best value doesn't mean cheap and okay. It means you paid the least and gave up nothing. That's the whole game. But here's the thing. Don't sleep on the runner-up, because for a lot of you, it's the actual answer. The Adidas Evo SL, also $150. One shoe that can do easy days, tempo runs, and race day without buying 3 different pairs. That's it. Here's the takeaway you can screenshot right now. The best shoe of 2026 and the best value shoe of 2026 both cost $60 less than the one everybody told you to buy. Price did not equal performance. It never really did. So here's how to spend your money right. You pick the Neo Zen or the Evo SL if you want max value and you save $60. Do this, and you'll never overpay for hype again. So before you drop $200 on whatever your feed is screaming about this week, remember the bracket. The loudest shoe is almost never the best one. That's the whole reason this channel exists. I tell you which shoe is actually worth your money, not which one has the biggest ad budget. If that's the kind of runner you want to be, the one who doesn't get sold, subscribe, and you'll never overpay for hype again. Next up, I'm racing this year's champion against last year's winner to see if 2026 is even a real upgrade. You are not going to want to miss it.